We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast on this Monday morning. I'm very excited. Ole Miss takes 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt. Number 2 Vanderbilt moves up to number 11, I believe, in their number 11 or number 13, I can't remember which one, in the D1 poll. Congratulations for that. And it also proves to these young guys that if you can take 2 or 3 from Vandy, you can take 2 or 3 from anybody, and that should serve them well in the regionals and the super regionals if it comes to that. But it's a major confidence builder. Also, we're going to talk today about honoring a legend, Coolidge Ball statue dedication. We have a nice little package done up about that. I think we're going to get to that in the second segment. And if we have time, we're going to just basically scatter shoot to where the different draft prospectuses, some of them just don't even rate Matt Corral. Some of them put him up in the first, second, or third position. And we just want to look at like Spencer Rattler, who struggled at the beginning of last season, but he gets a pass for that moving into the draft next year. And Matt Corral does not get a pass for the Arkansas and LSU game. I don't understand how it works. It's all a matter of opinion, but I mean, this season's a big season for Matt Corral and consistency. If he could get rid of those disaster games, he could go in the top 5 or 10 of the draft, I think. Moving forward. But before we get started, I want to tell you about the Vault Society. The Vault Society is a big push from the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. It's a 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the site. We'll give you the address in just a second. All gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. That would be postseason, bowl games, neutral site, etc. We have a big one on Labor Day coming up that fits that criteria. If you have any questions or you're interested, go to givetoathletics.com. Again, that address is givetoathletics.com. This is, of course, is the POMcast. You can catch us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis or at the Rebel Walk. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast or the Rebel Walk. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell, subscribe. There's other things on that page besides POMcast or Positively Ole Miss videos. There's videos like the last season's games are available on demand. The best games in history are on there. You can search around. All the press conferences will be there, not just the parts that we hit in the highlights here. So it's something worth checking out. You can also catch us on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. We have a catch-all site, 2 of them, at Willis Digital Media on YouTube and Willis Digital Media, all one word, on Twitch. If you want to listen to us on audio, you can catch us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. We're also on some smaller podcatchers, but we've listed them all. We'd be here all day. Again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Big weekend. I spent a lot of it strutting around of the numbers we're seeing, so thank you very much. It is definitely a beneficial thing. And, eventually you'll see me doing basically the Kramer strutting around to do all that. We are, I think, 150 views, just 150 views away from setting a monthly record on May 17th. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I just want to say all that. Your support for this podcast and the video elements of it are humbling. So thank you a lot. Now, getting into the show, I want to talk to you a little bit about Ole Miss over Vanderbilt. Took 2 out of 3 in the series, 13-10 on Sunday, 3-1 on Friday, and Vandy won via the long ball on Saturday. This whole series was won by the long ball. There's balls leaving the yard all over the place, including Jacob Gonzalez, who is a fantastic freshman. I've said it again. I said it once. I'll say it again. I'll put it on Twitter. His numbers are roughly the equivalent on par with Gray Kessinger and Zach Cozart as juniors in their draft year. Jacob Gonzalez is doing this as a true freshman. TJ McCants is tied for second on the team in hitting with Kevin Graham. True freshman. Jackson Kimbrell struggled at times during the season, but really clutched 3.2 innings yesterday to get to the point where you get to the 8th and you have 2 of your better relievers available to close us out. So if there's a problem, you were going to be able to be all right in Jack Doherty and Taylor Broadway. These were all questions that we all had last Monday. This is how would we react? What is this team? This was a major confidence building win. Because if you can take 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt, I don't care where. If you can take 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt, you can win a regional. If you can take 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt, you can win a super regional. So that is something we all need to keep in mind. It's never as low as it seems. It's never as high as it seems. Somewhere in the middle. Keep that even keel all the way through here. So it was a fantastic win for the Rebels. We're going to do the press conference highlights real quick and come back, talk for a little bit, and then we'll take a quick break and come back with the Coolidge Ball stuff. So stick around.
Yeah, he's terrific, and he's played like that for a long, long time. It's not like, hey, the move did much to him, and the move was because we knew he could handle it, and the lineup. Sometimes you got to juggle it a little bit, and it was. I thought, me and Clem talked before the game. It was a chance to move him up to the front, to put Jacob in a position to hit, with runners on and, more RBI situations. And it was a chance for Dunhurst maybe to move down a couple spots and maybe get, some better pitches. When you're batting in a 4-hole, you get pitched differently. And, TJ just continues to, flourish and have great days.
Yeah, well, a lot of it had to do with pitches to hit. I had some balls over the plate I could hit this weekend and today especially. But the biggest thing was I was just a few things with my load. I was just getting done late, just got down on time this time, and everything felt normal. Felt back to the way I have been all year besides the last weekend.
Laugh and I have been working on stuff for a while. I know my past couple outings haven't been great whatsoever. So we've just been working on some field stuff and getting back to my mechanics I was at the beginning of the year. And having my fastball and my changeup work for me today was really big for me. Helped me get a lot of key outs, a lot of ground balls, and a lot of pop flies. So I think that's what made the biggest difference.
And all of the above. I think great leadership, and I think there's a couple thoughts. One is when you think about leadership, people talk about the captain. Well, our captain was one of those guys that went down, and I think everybody loves Tim. Everybody knows, you guys know him. I mean, what a wonderful kid. He's the poster child for a student athlete. And it really is. I don't mean it jokingly. I mean that's what I think you dream about. That the guy's going to be a great player and a great representative of the university. He's going to be he's going to be smart and do well in school. But when he goes down, and handles it so well, and is a leader in the dugout, wearing a brace around and fighting to come back. But they've all done that, from Chofie to Chatinier, even Gunner this week. And, we've watched it. I don't think it's a surprise to us. Obviously, there's less weapons in the arsenal. We'd love to have those weapons. And you guys that, follow us all year long know of all the, adversity and all the stuff that we've been through. But, yeah, I don't know if I've ever been more proud of a team. And again, we got a lot of games in front of us, but the way how resilient, how relentless, they just continue to be. And so you find out on Tuesday that you lose arguably, the best pitcher in the country, and you're 3 for 4, through the weekend, and win a series against the number 2 team in the country. So, our guys just continue to answer back, and so that's pretty cool.
Oh, no. The lineup's never anything. Wherever he wants to put me, wherever he thinks I fit the best is where I want to hit. I'm never upset about it.
I was kind of inconsistent with my arm slot. I was kind of dropping sometimes, especially on my fastball, and extending. Like, I wasn't extending as far, so I was cutting the fastball a bit more, and that's why I've been spiking in the dirt a lot. But really getting extended and staying in my lower halves helped me a lot.
Sometimes it just happens because of the way you're being pitched, but he's hit some balls hard. And so that's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful of, hey, he's scuffling or he's slumping. Remember we walked first at bat yesterday, and he absolutely hits a ball like 105 off the bat, that ends up being a double play. So, in the box, it's a double play. From our standpoint, man, that you can't do any more than that. He smokes a ball against the wind today, in the right center gap, and he's had some of those. And then he's had some near misses. He's had some really good swings. He doesn't look uncomfortable up there, and that's why I wouldn't say scuffling. He hasn't got the hits that I know he wants, and we want him, but he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine.
I didn't say anything, but no, it just felt really good, and I was struggling a little bit when I was hitting, and I hit one good, and I was like, I'm gonna enjoy it real quick.
Really helped me out a lot. It's good to finally have a long and good outing. Just hope I can keep repeating that from here on out.
That when you say we, I don't know if you mean me, the coaching staff, or the team. My guess is the team. No. The coaches, I think we're all aware and get it, and we've done this long enough that we understand that, series like this, make a big difference. But at the end of the day, you can't just look at it. There's no, you've heard me for years, Parrish. I mean, I don't must win. I don't use those phrases or terms. I mean, this league is funny. This will put it in perspective for you. We're in the locker room today, and they put up the D1 baseball projections or whatever, or no, not D1 projections. Sorry. The SEC tournament bracket, if it was to end today, and the coaches just laughed and said, you can throw that away right now. Like, it doesn't work like that. And even though there's, 3 games or 4 games left, I mean, too many people play too many people. And, it's nice for you guys to write about it. It's nice to have these projections and all that. But at the end of the day, you just got to win and take care of your business. So I think the players have had it, right all along and just stay locked in. And we know how important it is. But at the end of the day, we still got to take care of business next week. And, so it is what it is. Now, we're really happy that we won. But at the end of the day, we get to play Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a big thing. And I am really impressed with these two true freshman bats, Jake Gonzalez and TJ McCants. Jacob Gonzalez is leading the team in hitting. TJ McCants is tied for second with Kevin Graham. It's a truly unique spark that you see developing at Ole Miss with two guys that are going to be mainstays in this lineup for a long time. This is going to be very fantastic if they develop normally. because you already deal with Jacob Gonzalez with numbers, like I said, similar to Zach Cozart and Gray Kessinger as a junior. He has 9 home runs this season as a true freshman. It's actually an incredible year. Now, one thing we need to realize is a lot of these players fell through the cracks to us because the Major League draft last year was only 5 rounds, so that limited who you could take and what you needed to do. Only the elite of the elite got selected. So players that would have gone in the past to the majors, they're sitting on our roster right now. And that's the reason you see all these true freshmen that are kind of going above and beyond the expectation for a freshman. It's kind of neat to see. And I am very much looking forward to their development over the next couple of years. I want to see what's going on. There's a chance Jacob Gonzalez could grow out of shortstop. I mean, that could happen, but I mean, he's a guy that can go over to third and would be absolutely fine. You might see a 4-year TJ McCants play, or 3-year TJ McCants playing in center field, but he might be in shortstop because we also have to remember Jerry Neely didn't play this year. That's a player that whenever he's good to go is going to patrol center field. Just something to keep in mind. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will talk about immortalizing a legend. Coolidge Ball with the statue dedication. We'll hear from, let's see, Glenn Boyce, Keith Carter, Kermit Davis, Coolidge himself. We got a bunch of people. We're going to talk about it a little bit. But that'll be after the break. Stick around, and I'm sure it'll be fun. All right. Hotty toddy.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the POMcast. I'm, of course, your host, Stephen Willis. Before we get started, I want to tell you about the rebelwalk.com. You can see it really over there. There it is. Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job talking about Ole Miss sports. It allows you to follow it without getting into the drama, the angst, the stuff that's required whenever it's a subscription service where they have to keep you and make it seem worth your while. They don't really do that at the Rebel Walk. They just kind of report it as it is. So go over there. They provide a subscription level experience for free. The only thing it's going to cost you your time, and the time is well worth it. So that's the rebelwalk.com. Again, that is the rebelwalk.com. So Coolidge Ball's statue got unveiled, and we're going to play that in just a second. But before we do, I just want to say that there is a nice little area between the pavilion and Vaught-Hemingway Stadium that was purely accidental. I don't think they meant to do this. But they have found a place that will be excellent for erecting a monument, like this Coolidge Ball statue. Or if they decide to immortalize the retired jerseys in Ole Miss's Ring of Honor, so to speak, an Archie Manning statue. There's already a bust of Chucky Mullen, so they might not want to redo that, but then whenever they do Eli's this year. And you can just put those monuments in between the two buildings and everything will fit. It's a way to dress it up without going crazy. Everybody's complained about that side of Vaught-Hemingway Stadium for, I don't know, years. I mean, ever since I've been an Ole Miss fan, people have complained about that, the way that side of the stadium looked. Now, the pavilion helps because you can't see through it. But, you know, a niceification of doing those monuments and figuring out a way to do it could be a way to go. Even if the numbers aren't retired, I mean, you know, a Dexter statue, a Deuce McAllister statue, a Patrick Willis statue. Even it can be the level right below jersey retirement that right now are reserved for basically the student ticket gates. So I think it could look pretty cool. And seeing this video and everything just made me think about it. But him getting his statue and everything is a pretty big deal. Back 50 years ago, like 1970, 71. You know, it was a time whenever Ole Miss was basically slow to integrate and everybody was starting to separate from Ole Miss. That would lead to like 20, 30 years of a recruiting hole that Ole Miss had to overcome. But Coolidge Ball was the first step in trying to heal that. Now, it's moved slowly over the decades, and, you know, nobody can say that it hasn't. But it's something that needed to happen, and without Coolidge Ball coming in and going to Ole Miss, we would not be where we are today. It absolutely plotted that course. So, we're going to play a short video right now of that ceremony, and stick around.
Today we honor and celebrate a man that did something 50 years ago that forever changed the trajectory of Ole Miss athletics. Coolidge Ball. Today we honor and celebrate a man that did something 50 years ago that forever changed the trajectory of Ole Miss athletics. Coolidge Ball, from Indianola, Mississippi, decided on August 6, 1970 to stay in his home state and become the first black student athlete ever at Ole Miss. A decision that created positive ripple effects for decades and has set the stage for so many other minority student athletes to have the opportunity to attend our beloved Ole Miss. His courage and determination not only blazed a trail in athletics, but moved our university forward in so many ways. We are eternally grateful and thankful for the contributions Coolidge has made, and today we are so excited to cement his legacy forever.
And I want to tell you, America's beautiful, most beautiful campus, okay, is delighted that we could host Coolidge Ball and his family for such a special moment. Today is a true special occasion. No words or even a statue can express or demonstrate the full extent of our gratitude, respect, and admiration for Coolidge Ball. As a trailblazer, his lasting legacy at the University of Mississippi is reflected in how he braved uncharted territory, and in doing so, moved our university and our state forward. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, we may never know just how much Coolidge moved this state forward. The one thing we do know, though, it was significant and mighty, and continues to be in this day, right here.
I'm just proud to have this statue, and it's just not only for me, but it's for the university from here on, you know, and it's a great tribute to me and my family, and we're just so excited about it.
Yeah, because I've watched Coolidge Ball play on the freshman team live when I was growing up in Starkville. I watched him play freshman basketball, and he averaged over 20. I watched him play all 3 years at Ole Miss, watched him become two-time SEC all-conference. So I've just followed Coolidge Ball. I know exactly who he is, and my dad recruited Coolidge, went to Indianola Gentry to watch him play. Obviously, he picked the right school back then, and so we have a lot of respect. Coolidge is very involved with our program. He comes, speaks to our team, comes to a lot of practices, so we love Coolidge being around.
There are tons of feelings that I have going on, especially with a lot of the things that we've been dealing with this past season, and just to see the university take another step forward and unveiling a statue with the first. I mean, I cannot even put it into words, the pride I feel.
Yeah, it's a great moment, not just for Ole Miss, but for our state. I mean, just what Coolidge meant back in 1970. You know, we're going to honor Coolidge as the first black scholarship athlete, but really we're going to honor him on so many other fronts. Not only what kind of player he was, but when you watched him play, he had such a humble disposition, his grace, his dignity, the way he played. He's a graduate of Ole Miss. And then you know what he thinks about Ole Miss? He lives in Oxford. So Coolidge is a great story. It means a lot for everybody, and especially Ole Miss now, 50 years later.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and it's a big moment for the school, and everybody who put that on should be very happy. But I do think going into that and looking at that statue, it was a completely accidental thing, but it does provide a space for Ole Miss to decorate via monuments going forward. It's something I think that they need to think about doing. It could be a way to do a kind of Ring of Honor thing. Because I know you can't retire numbers over and over because that affects how you can recruit. You need those numbers. Like, you know, something you could see down the road. I want to talk real quick about these draft projections that you've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. And some of them would have, like, Matt Corral not even listed. And they list 6 of the top quarterbacks for the next draft, including like Malik Willis, and just don't even list him. And some of them put him at 1 or 2, and he's the highest ranking QBR. Now, when dealing with like Spencer Rattler, and everybody wants to put him up there, and I think it's just because he goes to Oklahoma. I genuinely think that he's a good player, but I think that the benefit of the doubt comes with where he goes to school. And his struggles over the first 4 or 5 games last year were pretty pronounced. It wasn't until the end of the Texas game where he came back and won the game, and that's not exactly a big deal for Oklahoma to come back and beat Texas. But it was actually, you know, that was like the springboard, that game. And I don't understand why he gets a pass for the first 4 games last year and Matt Corral gets judged based off of 2. I don't understand that. I think a little bit of it is that people put too much stock in analytics these days. I think it's a crutch for people. If they can understand what the analytic is, that puts them a step ahead of the average fan when it comes to that, and they can sound more intelligent. But the analytic doesn't really mean anything, because anytime there's an analytic, as soon as the other team changes the way it plays, or you play somebody that doesn't fit exactly how that goes, that analytic is useless. And you're just basically talking. So it's not a universal system. So to be careful dealing with analytics, like you want to talk about Matt Corral being the top-rated QBR quarterback, or you want to talk about him throwing 11 interceptions in 2 games last year, just understand that those aren't exactly relative to going into next season. Matt Corral's going into next season off of a top 10 win. A top 10 win where he didn't have Jerry and Ely, where he didn't have Braylon Sanders, where he didn't have Elijah Moore, where second and third team players were all over the field. He still threw for 350 and led Ole Miss to a victory over a top 10 team. That is the metric that people need to be thinking of right now. The growth between the Arkansas game and that game. You like 7 games down the road and you can see it. And, you know, Fayetteville a long time has been a house of horrors for Ole Miss. I mean, just weird things happen. I remember back when Cut was here, Arkansas scored a touchdown kicking off to us. I mean, there's just weird things that happen there. But them coming to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, I expect Ole Miss to play very well, and I'm expecting Ole Miss to have a solid season. Now, I'm not going to do records just yet, but I'm in the ballpark of thinking it could go very well. Now, it all starts off with Louisville, that neutral site game in Atlanta. on September 6th on Labor Day. But if you can get through that one and do that, you have Austin Peay, Tulane. All of a sudden you're 3-0 and you're going to Alabama, Arkansas at home, at Tennessee. There's a chance for 5-1 going to LSU. Gets a little hard a couple weeks in a row, and then you got Liberty. Gets a little hard, A&M, and then you got a little bit of a break at the end. So there's a chance, just looking at it at 9-3, looking, and I'm not going to do a prediction. I haven't dug into it that much, but there's a chance. Anyway, we're going to close the show right there. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with more Ole Miss news. I think Ole Miss plays UT Martin tomorrow night, so we might do a slight preview of that at Georgia this weekend, and then we get into the summer tournaments and months. So I'm Stephen Willis. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.